Today I'm presenting a little bit of the work I do on the ground. Um, Here you can see that I'm just right at the beginning of our session, and Dolly and I are just walking together and having a look at how we can communicate. Can we synchronize our body? Can we walk on parallel lines, stop together, start together? The reason I choose to do some work on the ground is that it's a really, really good way to, one, teach the aids from the ground for a young horse, two, maintain a ridden horse in a really good alignment and balance. Uh, Very much like I do yoga for myself and go swimming and do various other form of exercise other than um, trimming and working my horses and gardening, so that my body remains strong, supple, balanced. Um, so this is the same for our horses. So here you can see it's right at the beginning I've picked up a little bit of contact and we're doing a little shoulder in. And it's not perfect. At one stage, her neck was a little bit overbent, so the spinal alignment wasn't respected. And the idea is not perfection. The idea is that you are able to assess your horse's body and choose exercises that are going to help them feel better. Now, I know Dolly very well. We've been together for over 10 years since she was three. And at the 3 years old, she was pushed through a gate and sustained a significant chest injury on her left pectoral, and so I'm aware that she has some restriction to scar tissue on her left side. And you will see later on when she's on the circle that it's slightly visible. So we're doing here some half pass and shoulder in just so that we can help her opening her chest a little bit more and balancing on a forefeet. Half past is one of the best exercise for balance as long as it is done correctly. Now, Dolly the Clydesdale, she's not your typical dressage horse, and so you won't see the type of movement that perhaps you're used to see in high level dressage. She hasn't got that capacity, and asking her that of her would be very detrimental to her body. Now you can see here that I can easily change my position from walking backwards to walking side by side and later on lunging. Just want to point out at this stage of the video, Dolly's obviously seen something in the distance. I wasn't sure what it was, but horses have got far superior senses than ours. And so if a horse needs to look at something for a moment, I don't ever tell them that they're stupid or silly. I just take the opportunity to coil back my line before here we're ready to start again in calmness. Horses don't have the same notion of time than we do. And if they need to stop and look, they can stop and look. So now you will see we're starting on a fairly big circle to do a little lunging. And I don't know whether you were able to see, but she's a bit narrow in the front. She's got wide hips and a fairly narrow front, which is why we often work with exercise to open the chest. I hope that you were able to see that in the transition, I didn't have to use my stick as a whip or anything like that. We are working together in synchrony, and the horses know when I ask for the trot because I put a different type of energy, for lack of better word, in my body. So here we'll do the same on both hands. So we'll probably in a moment pick up the trot. And again, I want you to notice that I don't use my stick as a whip. I don't know whether you saw, but earlier on, there we go, a lovely transition. And she's getting more balance now. And she's not accelerating on the circle. She remains at a steady rhythm that also show good balance. If your horse needs to put the head to the outside on the circle or start going faster and faster, it's because they are finding it hard to balance. We are not doing a lot of canter work at the moment. It's a bit too early in our session, but a little canter depart is always a nice way for the horse to move their diaphragm and take a bigger breath. So that's all we do. Yes, I was talking about the use of the stick. The stick is a precision tool. I use it when I work on the ground. I very rarely use it in the saddle. And it's really a pointer whether I want the shoulders to move or the hips to move. Now, in this last part of our little session on the ground, we are doing a little bit of long reining. Long reining is a really, really good way to introduce collection to a horse. Obviously, our legs can't go quite as fast as a horse, so the horse has to learn to adjust their movement to our movements and therefore collect a little bit. I know that some people use it to introduce the rein to a young horse, and that obviously can be done very well. Um, Personally, it's something that introduce a little later when the horse is able to balance and collect. So here's Dolly demonstrating a lovely little pirouette. And all those movements for a big draft horse are not easy. And so once we've done one exercise, I always leave her a little bit of time to think about her body feel before we start again. And here you could see that, we just started together. There was no rush, and there's never any sharp aid uh, to tell a horse to move, because that create tension, and with tension create poor movements. So we'll probably do a little leg yield here, and again that will help Dolly opening chest to the left where she has that little restriction. We can also do a half pass from long reining, shoulder in. So all the exercise that you would normally want to do later on in the saddle um, can be taught both with one rein clipped on the middle rein of the cavesson and a stick, or they can be done long reining. Again, those exercises are not to um, show a performance. They are maintenance exercise for a ridden horse to help them keeping muscles that are strong and supple to carry the rider. Dolly is almost 15. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure that she was born in 20. Oh no, she's going to be 16. I think she was born in 2010. And really, at that age, a horse that has been carefully started and haven't done too much work too early should be able to be pretty much in their prime. So we're doing a little bit of collected trot work here. Um, and this is obviously not easy, so there'll be a few times when Dolly goes back to the walk. It's simply her way to tell me, "Oof, this is a little bit hard, ma'am." Always finishing a difficult exercise on long rein and relaxation. Thank you for watching.